Hello, this is the One Episode Rule podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie, and I went manga shopping at the Walmart today.
Whoa.
Were you on the hunt for more dungeon meshi?
I was on the hunt for reasonably priced dungeon meshi on the off chance they had it.
Because they did have reasonably priced Chainsaw Man that one time.
That did happen once. So I peeked in, and the selection this time was truly awful, but it contained some notable things that I wish to bring up on the podcast, which was, what do you think sitting on the Walmart manga shelf in the year of our Lord 2024?
Oh God.
The only
something unhinged.
Attack on Titan was there. And so was My Hero Academia. And that's the most popular you're getting. The most, culturally relevant right now. Would you have guessed Death Note?
It's fair. It's like a bestseller, like long term. So
I mean,
it's a little surprising, but not that surprising, I guess.
That's as crazy as going to the thriller section and finding I don't know, Moby Dick.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah, but it's not a... Well, first of all, Moby Dick isn't a thriller. And second of all, this is a Walmart. But yeah,
does Walmart not sell Moby Dick?
I don't believe it does.
Why
not? In general, odd experience. Just in general.
Guess no dungeon meshi though, huh?
Did not find any, so I will keep having to deal with websites that alternatively sell the volumes for $10 and $25. How are you guys doing?
I'm Blackle. I'm doing pretty good. Been watching a lot of Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 with my girlfriend.
I'm so
that
happy
show
for
has
you.
So much lesbian subtext. It's incredible.
That's delightful.
It gets really Neon Genesis around the middle. We're not done yet. We're over halfway through at this point.
Interesting.
But very Neon Genesis, very Akira. It's it goes some places, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Sounds fun. Mm-hmm. Hello, I'm Joey. This week I've really been lax on anime. I've been watching a little more of what's it called? But a little more Turn A Gundam. I watched a little more Solo Leveling, and that's pretty much all I've caught up with of late. I've been spending all of my time trying to create anime in the alchemy game.
Oh God.
Incomprehensible. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Hi, it's me, Louie. I've also been up to jack shit. Being an adult means you don't get to watch anime all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Also spent 3 hours in the character creator for Baldur's Gate 3, and I can announce that I believe I have a workable character.
You finally have a guy.
Do you guys want to hear some news about the subject of this podcast?
Mm-hmm.
We've got some things. This hit everywhere, so we might as well talk about it. The Shonen Jump leakers were arrested in Tokyo.
Yeah.
These are the people who put up the latest issue of Shonen Jump a week early.
Ooh. For
the material parts of the story, subjects were revealed to be two foreigners, or foreign nationals at least, a 36-year-old company president of Japan Deal World, Musa Samir, and a 34-year-old company employee from Tokyo. And some suggest that there was a third foreign national arrested with them. What apparently the scam was conspiring to upload the latest chapter of manga serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump to an internet site before the magazine's release date, and infringing the copyright work of the author by taking pictures of the latest chapter with a smartphone and making a copy. Apparently, they were able to do this because Samir's business was one of those that gets the magazine early.
So here's the thing about that is how can you do that and not expect to eventually be caught? Because I'm sure there's a very limited number of ones that have access to that early.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is for like someone to distribute like different versions to different vendors, and then they just see what gets online.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like the nature of the crime is like silly to me because by the time you can get a hold of it to break street date, it's still it's coming out in like 4 days. So like, why bother? It's kind of nonsensical.
Jujutsu Kaisen fans would probably appreciate the fact that the leaker. I don't know. I'm trying. It's not working.
Next story.
I can't make the joke I want to make.
The Apothecary Diaries gets a surprise endorsement by the Japanese government.
Whoa.
The popular series main character Mao Mao has appeared on the cover of its public relations magazine for health, labor, and welfare. It is, which is a public relations wing of the Japanese government's Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare.
All right.
So they put the little anime apothecary medicine seller girl on the cover.
Aw. Well, good for her.
And finally, Fujimoto's one-shot Look Back is rumored to be getting an anime adaptation.
Nice.
Because somebody registered the domain lookback-anime.
Cool. I don't know anything about it.
Me either, but people seem to be interested.
Well, maybe we'll find out eventually then.
Anyway, I believe Louis had something he wanted to present today.
We're allowing him for the.
Yeah. So, do the monstrosity that we watched last week. I took. Well, what's the word that I'm looking for?
You took initiative.
I took initiative. Thank you. I took initiative, and I was like, "Don't worry, guys. I got us."
Mm-hmm.
I am the white knight of the podcast.
So true.
And I say we're watching Ring Click.
All right.
All right. Well, let's go.
Let's watch it.
Let's click the link.
Let's click it.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
You know, I'm supposed to come up with a joke for when we come back, but I'm just too depressed.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that one was sad. This is like if Inception was sad.
Yeah, I mean, Inception is sad in a way.
Well, I'll reveal to you a fact later that might make it less sad, but we'll see.
Okay.
But who wants to read this blurb that has Chinese names in it?
All right. Well, let's try it. It is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In this case, it holds an infinite amount of secrets. There are secrets that only Cheng Xiaoxi and Lu Guang are able to find. In a small shop called Time Photo Studio, the two friends provide a special service. Using their extraordinary powers that let them enter photographs, they jump into pictures brought to them by their clients in order to grant their wishes. Through the eyes of the photographer, they live through the events surrounding the picture and try to decipher how to solve their clients' requests. But every time they jump into a picture, they take a great risk. One wrong move and they could alter the future of the person who took the picture, and possibly countless other events too. So when the events they are forced to live through in these pictures start to become personal, it will take the utmost strength to push their feelings aside and focus on accomplishing the task they were paid to do.
Look at this photograph.
That could have been the lead-in. This one didn't make me laugh.
This is an interesting premise. I'll give them this.
Yeah.
So
For real.
So yeah, we basically also we should note that this is in Chinese. It's straight up Chinese language.
Yes.
So yeah, there is something about the language of Chinese that always amuses me with how annoyed they can sound. The both Chinese languages are capable of incredible annoyance. I have heard this in donut shops, but
in donut shops.
punctuated by English cursing.
Yes.
But yeah, so we open on a scene that really emphasizes that, which is our two characters are kind of hanging out in the Photoshop. Let's see. Lu Guang is the white-haired quiet boy, and Cheng Jianxi is the dark-haired loud boy
Yep.
who wears a souvenir jacket. And they're just sort of hanging around and shooting the shit when Lu Guang's sister comes in, who how he calls his landlady.
Yeah.
Because apparently they own the
does.
property where he lives.
Yeah.
And she's just like, you're always fucking around on your phone. Give me. Just like you owe me. Why don't you work for a living? It's just like he just straight up comes with my parents raised me here, and I swear to God, if you try and make me live, I will kill myself. You will never get another tenant. This time I'm really gonna do it. But yeah, and she's just like, actually, I got a new job for us. And she goes to her brother, and he's just like, come on, show us a picture. And she's just like, hang on. And she's just like, hang on a second, Guang Guang. And the other guy's just like, fucking Guang Guang.
Guang Guang.
And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Shut up, bro.
And I didn't know what they were doing, which is a great sign. But she passes him over a photo of some spring rolls, and they start talking business immediately. They all lock in. And it's just like, all right, so what do we got here? It's just like, oh, we've got a period. We've got one chance at this in only 12 hours. And they're just like, shit. It's like, okay, so what do we want? It's just like, well, this company's financial data. We want this company's financial data, but the CFO keeps it on them all the time. He always takes it off the network and keeps it on a flash drive on his person.
That's not suspicious at all.
That's not suspicious at all. What do you mean having two sets of books is suspicious? But yeah, and it's just, and he flashes through like the next 12 hours from when this office lady took this photograph, and her name was her name subtitled as Anna for everyone else.
Yes,
because she's listed as Wu Lihua.
Yeah, I don't know. That
But
was
I guess we're gonna call
We're just gonna call her.
Let's just go out and say it. These subtitles were very bad.
The subtitles were a little
suspect.
But they were serviceable, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're gonna call her Anna for now because it rolls off the tongue a little easier for an English speaker. So yeah, this is their viewpoint character. It's just like, I can drop you in here, and this sort of proceeds like time-based Inception, because Lu Guang has the ability to scan through the photo and figure out what the fuck is happening, and his partner Zhaoxi has the ability to enter the person in the photograph and live their life, basically.
Yes.
And take control of them. So, and he has to get lectured every time. It's just like, do what I say. Don't fuck around.
Don't change it. Don't change anything. This is a canon event. Whatever.
Don't change the future or the past.
A canon event, you say? Is that like a Kodak moment?
I haven't seen that film.
Oh, ha ha ha.
So yeah. So it's just like, all right, send me the fuck in, coach. And drops him right into her body. And he seems to be kind of an old hand at this, because he does not immediately out himself as just a fucking crude asshole in the body of a relatively demure office lady. And he's taking a picture of these spring rolls, and he's just like, when? And she's like, should I finish these? And it's like, hang on. hang on. And then when he's just like, come on, should I finish them? And then the boss is just like, Anna, can you come here? And he's just like, oh, okay.
Like,
And it's just like, oh, yeah, sure, okay. Because he initially answers like really rudely in a way that doesn't parse
not in
the
character,
English.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't parse the English, so I don't know how he was being rude.
Right.
But other than having a somewhat irritated tone of voice, as we previously discussed. And he finally shapes up and he's just like, oh, Mr. Zhu, yes, sir, right away, sir.
Right.
And he follows her in there, and he into his office, and he's just like, take out again, huh? It's like, I saw your moment, which I guess is like a tweet or Facebook post or whatever. She was posting the picture too. And she's just like, why don't we have a little midnight snack together? And it's just like, oh, this is getting creepy. Because he's immediately coming on to her. He's just like,
it's not great.
The lines are very like Asian, but they translate to a very American concept relatively easily.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, it's so hard to work alone. You know, you could always use some extra help.
Right.
And he's got her leaning up against the wall, and Liu Kang is he's just like, is there anywhere to get out of this? And Gong's just like, nah, just hang on. Just hang on. And he's just leaning in for it, and he just starts to pucker. He's just like, I'm gonna have to kiss this man.
He's just like, wait.
And then his phone rings, and he's just like, push him away. It's just like, oh, sorry, it's my phone. He's just like, Auntie, you saved me. And it's just like, what? And it's a call from the girl's mom.
Yes.
And they sit there and call for a second. Have a call for a second, and she's fussing over her because she's just like, I saw your post. Like, why are you eating this garbage? And he's like, oh, come on, takeout is really like healthy and clean now. And he like looks down at one of the egg rolls, and there's like an actual centipede on it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Like, my God.
And her dad takes the phone in a very stereotypical dad way, and he's just like, don't make trouble for our daughter. It's just
like, are you still at work?
Just like, are you still at work? Why didn't you block your mother? I told you to block your mother. Why'd you block me? It's just like, oh, it was a mistake.
Like, oh, God.
And she talks to them for long enough that the screen on her computer powers down to rest. And her boss is no longer cuddly. He's just like, what are you doing sitting in the dark? I need that shit done by 9 a.m.
Yeah.
He's just like, do I really have to do this shit, Gong? He's just like, well, you heard the man. You're only going to get one shot at this. She's just like, oh, son of a bitch. Just like, type it up. I'll guide you. And then we get to work. And it's just like, do this work and also sort out your fucking neighbor's recycling and shit and take it out with you and like clean up the conference room and shit.
Like stuff that is definitely not like in her job description.
Yeah, she's a secretary, so it's just like, fuck. But it actually reminds me of that scene from the end of Control where Jesse has to do all the fucking office tasks.
Oh my God, yeah.
But
oh no.
But yeah, she's like typing. He's like typing it up, and he's just like, "Bitch, you live like this? This is awesome. You do this every fucking day." It's like, "God, does she do this every day?" And he's just like, "Mind your own fucking business."
She's like, "Don't get attached. Don't get attached."
And then he closes it down and he takes the garbage outside, and the fucking cans are locked with a padlock. It's like, why the fuck would you do this? God damn it. So yeah. And the next scene is just her riding her fucking like fixed gear bike home with these 2 bags of garbage.
Yeah.
And it's like, you couldn't fucking pay me enough to take that fucking garbage.
Like, that would be on the sidewalk.
It's like, that is in the closest dumpster. I don't give a shit about theft of service. Fuck you. But yeah, and she's like on her way home, and she goes into her tiny ass apartment, which has her apartment is confusing because it has like a raised dais for a kitchen, I assume.
Yeah.
Very strange, like little staircase in there. And then like a pit where she lays her futon.
Yeah, the futon pit. We've all
The
seen
futon pit. But she's going to bed and she's just like, so we only have one chance at this, right? It's just like, how long is it going to be? It's just like, well, it's gonna be at the meeting tomorrow, so it's gonna be after 9. He's like, oh shit. And his phone rings and he's just like, ignore it, go to sleep. Just like, okay. And he goes to sleep for a while, and Gong goes to sleep for a while. This leads to a really interesting, like, they have an interesting relationship because they have to be like together for this entire period, basically in contact, like a fucking Discord call.
Yeah.
This like strikes me as like, what if Solid Snake was on a mission, but Otacon was fucking with him 100% of the time, just talking about bullshit. He's like, Otacon, I'm trying to fucking concentrate.
Stop talking to me about bubblegum crisis, Otacon.
Yes, I will get you the minifigs. Shut the fuck up. So yeah, and they go to sleep. And it's time to dream. They dream one of the saddest, like most touching dreams I've seen in anime.
Oh my god!
because it's heartwarming. It's her folks making dinner, and they're making spring rolls, like good spring rolls, like properly fried,
like the proper real ones.
There was a little food Sasuga in there for a second, like 10 seconds worth, which is I guess all they could manage.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all fried up. There's a big pile of them. And she's sitting at the table, and she's like 8. And her mom comes and sits them down, and she reaches out and grabs one with some chopsticks, and she goes, "Ooh, too hot!" And her paw is just like, "No, you got to be more patient." And he reaches over and picks one up with his bare hands, and he just blows on it. He's just like, and hands it to her. She's just like, "What, Papa? Why did you pick it up right away?" He's just like, "My skin's rough. It's fine." His wife comes by and is just like, "Your fingers are all fucking red." She's like, "Don't fuss over me, woman." It's like, it's all really charming and shit. And she takes a bite and she's like, "This is so good." And he's just like, "Why wine, woman? Go get it." And she's just like, I gotta do soup. Get it yourself." And they both leave. And then it's him as a child at the table with 2 empty seats facing him. And just darkness. There's no room.
Yeah.
There's just a kitchen table and him alone.
Yep.
And Gong is just like, "So you couldn't sleep, huh?"
Yeah.
It's like, "I had a dream about eating spring rolls." And I'm not the only one. He's just like, "Well, whenever you inhabit somebody, you sort of take on their memories."
Yeah.
And feelings. And there's just a beat, and it's just like, will they ever come back? Just like, oh man.
Really sad. I wasn't expecting this show to get me in the Felios.
And they get really like meta because Gong turns over and like puts a hand on his shoulder. He's like, "Go to sleep."
It was like kind of tender.
I thought that was
like,
really cool.
But he doesn't go to sleep. He rolls over and reads the phone message from earlier, which is Anna's mom apologizing for getting her in trouble with her boss because she heard it. And he's like, "I just get so worried about you not eating right and being cold." And we care about you a lot. And then we cut to her at work again. Because she's tidying up the office and getting it ready, and Gong's just like, "Good job, everything's in character." And she's like, "All right, sit down." He's just like, "This is a bunch of garbage." like who would put up with this for fucking rent? And as he says the boss comes in, it's just like, "Garbage?" And it's just like, "Well, if you're not willing to do it, there's plenty of others who will." It's just like, God, why are you such a cunt?
For real.
And they all settle down. They have their laptops out, and she's just like, he's got like anti-peak film, so the only way that you can actually see what's on his screen is to look directly at it. It's just like, how long is it gonna be? It's just like, why don't you just wait and see? It's just like, how long is it gonna be? And the answer is like an hour. So he has to endure this shit. And she's just like, God damn it. She's just like, show some fucking patience. And finally, she's just like, now, spill his glass. And he's like looking at her, which is like the like, oh, I can't do this subtly. When she knocks over does she knock over the teapot? The whole
I
one?
think it's a cup. I think
Or
it's just a
his
cup. But
she's
she
oh.
fucking flips it. She is
She's
not sneaky about it at all.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And
Whoops.
she's like on her knees trying to like clean up the area. And the guy's wife bursts in. She's like, aha, I knew you had a piece on the side.
You home wrecker.
It's like, I knew you had a bitch work here. It's just like, it's not what it looks like. And then he's looking past Anna and his wife over to another guy who's just like, he's just like, well, she came on to me. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you miserable piece
you
of shit.
piece of shit.
And the wife lays into her, like slaps her. It's just like people like basically boiling down. It's just like, you fucking peasant people should keep your wild ass children away from people's husbands.
Yeah.
Classism.
Zhaoxi is so pissed off about this that he's about to throw hands. And
yeah, you see his fist balling up.
No. And you can see, this is actually an interesting piece of animation because she has like brown eyes and she's just a brown-eyed, brown-haired office lady. But whenever she's staring up at her after the first slap, she's got the fucking like amber Makima eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is murder face. Like, I'm about to go for your fucking throat. But he manages to hold on long enough for her to just be like, how dare you look at me like that? And she slaps her to the ground where she can see the laptop. Because it's also on the ground. She can see it unobstructed. And they get the data because he can see through his eyes. And that's pretty much it. It cuts to them on the couch and it's just like, so we got everything we need? And she's like, yeah. It's just like, It's like, if I'd really done anything, you think it would have changed anything? It's just like, I told you, don't worry about that kind of stuff.
Don't ask me about it.
Don't ask me about that. Don't ask. It's just like, well, it's just like, I'd really, and then a couple of more beats, and it's just like, I kind of like to know how she's doing. It's like, don't ask me about the future.
Don't ask me about any of that.
And we get we get a view inside her life, which she's coming back from the shit, and it's just like my career is over. I'll never be able to work in this field again.
Yeah.
It's just like my life is kind of ruined right now, and she's like riding home, like crying on her bicycle.
Yeah.
And she stops into her apartment, and she's like slumped against the wall, and she looks, and there's a big plate of spring rolls on the table, covered in saran wrap. She's like, what? And she opens up her phone and she sees a conversation she doesn't remember.
Right.
Because
she was not happening.
Because Zhaoxi just said, I just responded to her mom's text with, I miss you. Right. And she calls them, and they're at like the train station, and she's just like, oh, you made trouble for our daughter again. Listen, she wanted to give you some spring rolls, and we brought you a bunch of stuff from home, even though I said that we could get this stuff in the city, but she said it'd be warmer if you brought it. And it's just like, no. Right. She's like, no, I want all of it. She's like, stay where you are. I want to come see you.
Yeah.
And she's running through the station to go see them, and she bumps into some guy, and he's just like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's just like, what, are you in a hurry? I could give you a ride to the station. And when it cuts back to the couch, Zhaoxi has gone off to talk to the landlady.
Yeah.
Again. And Gong is just there watching the news on his phone, and it's just like, oh, they fished a body out of the river this morning.
She
like-
didn't make it.
It's like this. She's suspected. There is a possibility that this office lady committed suicide due to her connection to the financial disaster. It's like, oh no, she got murdered. Shit.
She got extremely murdered, unfortunately.
That's pretty much the end of it. I had some technical problems, so I actually didn't watch the intro or outro of this. And also, there was a scene at the beginning that was straight up in unsubtitled Chinese, and I was just like, "What the fuck am I?"
I also experienced that, and I was like, "Wait, is this going to be non-subbed the whole time?" But no, it was. It was fine. The intro and the outro were good, by the way. They were pretty short.
Yeah.
But,
They were in English, and one of them was in English, and I was just like, "Oh."
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what do we think?
Can I make a confession? My deathbed confession.
All
Oh
right.
boy.
What, you still watched this before?
I watched the first episode of this 2 years ago, and it made me so depressed I couldn't watch anymore. And I was like,
Ah.
maybe I'll watch this with my friends.
Maybe
and
it'll be
better.
different.
But
Maybe
no,
it'll be
it
different.
made me just as depressed as it did last
No,
time.
no.
Well,
I've only seen the first episode though. Let me be very clear.
The last thing I wrote in my notes is just a big frowny face. Because
Well,
that's how it made me feel.
Well, I might have something for you later, but first let's talk about this, which is for like a Chinese production. There's not a whole lot of Chinese anime yet. This one is a pretty good part of the opening salvo, though. It looks like they did quite a bit with not so much money.
Mm-hmm. Like
The animation reminds me a bit of The Great Pretender.
yes, I actually had a
feeling like
similar
that?
thought because maybe it's something about the color palettes and the
Color
way they did their
palettes and-
background art.
The way the characters are illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look quite as good as that, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
I think also Great Pretender, there's an alignment with the theming of their sort of like not like hackers, but like sort of heist theming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
It is
like
very heisty.
yeah, they're like con men or like swindlers or
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I liked the voice acting in this.
Yeah.
See,
Mhm.
they
It was
did.
pretty
They, I am not used to Chinese, and they managed to give each character a voice distinct enough that I could
Yes.
tell them all apart easily. So
Yes. That's
I
always
was
good.
especially charmed by her parents.
Yeah. I also like enjoy that like they still let they still had the guy voice when he was in
Mhm.
her,
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
that there's some
In her,
distinction.
yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
God.
I was like, wait,
That's a
this
hell
is
of a way
gender
to say
language
that.
to
feels.
describe this. Yeah.
No,
Um,
he's just experiencing gender. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
you want the fucking words to describe this. Unfortunately, I have to tell you where to find them, and that is in H.P. Lovecraft's A Shadow Out of Time,
Okay, all right.
because that's
All right.
exactly what's happening here. Except instead of a jerk Chinese teenager, it is a 12-foot tall cone alien
Oh no.
that proceeds to ruin the guy's life for like 10 years, and then unceremoniously dumps him back in his own body.
Oh my.
That's the rub. Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I think my only complaint is the subtitles weren't very good, and that's like not even the show's fault.
Yeah.
And
Joey, we
I
got
liked
Blackwell.
how it did a lot of showing and not telling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like
Good
how it was a
storytelling.
challenge to figure out what was going on. I like it when it's sort of hard to figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, and it's sort of intriguing in that way.
But I like it to be like easy enough that everybody can find out what's happening at the
Yes.
same time.
Exactly. Like it's a simple premise, but it's presented in a way that makes you kind of have to work for your meal. And I like
You think
that.
about it a little bit, and
Yeah,
and
exactly. And that pulls
nobody
you in more.
viciously spoon feeds it to you when you
Right.
don't need it.
Yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
I hate that. I gag on that.
I
Yeah.
think this show's very emotionally poignant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
It doesn't pull punches, which I appreciate, but also like goddamn, it doesn't pull punches. Like what
It
the
makes you
doesn't
feel something.
really doesn't pull
Like,
punches.
So
yeah.
I have a gift for all of you right now,
Okay.
because I am currently sitting on the My Anime list page, as I often do, and I am seeing the thumbnails at the bottom of the screen. And at the very end, at episode 11, the thumbnail is of Anna,
Oh,
which
I
suggests
wouldn't.
that they go back and do something about it.
maybe.
Time
How many
fuckery be
episodes are in
damned.
this?
Time fuckery be
So
damned.
11 in the first season, but there's 2 seasons.
Yeah, it looks like they made another season after that. So.
All right.
Yeah. I tried. Sorry.
And that character is listed as the 4th most important in the show.
Okay. So
I mean,
there's hope
you-
for our girl.
I wouldn't be hopeful.
Yeah.
If I were designing the show, I feel like it would be interesting if like they save her and then like
It's
They
makes
have to
even more
keep
messes.
going
now.
Yeah.
or they have to keep going back because he fucked it up.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to keep going because they've got one save state.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can we obviously can't make the future as is anymore. So can we find one that's fucking acceptable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could do 12 episodes of that if they wanted.
Like that's the fun thing about this show is there's a lot of ways they could do like really interesting stuff with this, and
All you need on your script is just one page that just says you're always stuck in that damn time.
it's because you're always
Yeah,
stuck in that
I
damn
think-
time loop.
I think the design of the premise is pretty genius because having because normally when you think about a superpower like this where you can go back into a photo, you think about going back and knowing what happens being the same thing. But having it be in the powers being in 2 separate dudes and they have to communicate makes it very compelling. I think
It does.
Quite a good
So, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, on my part, good show, no notes.
Good show, no notes. Like actually several notes, but like good show. I would, I think I will watch more of this actually.
Might be convinced
I would
to
want
watch
to
an
put
episode
work
or
into
two.
trying to find better subs. First of all.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I'm 90% sure the subs I watched on Crunchyroll are Japanese, or like the voice acting is Japanese. So there
that's interesting.
is a Japanese dub somewhere.
So there's possibly there's 2 dubs at least, and possibly 3.
No, I meant subs. That's I want a better sub.
Well, those often come as a package, is what we're getting.
Right.
At.
Yes.
So there may be several different versions of the subs.
Like
I imagine
didn't,
maybe the one we
sorry.
watched was like something that just like it was the upload from when it like sort of just came out,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in that time someone's made better subs.
Perhaps.
I'm pretty sure I remember her name being Anna in that too, because Anna was familiar to me, and Li Hua is not.
Yeah, Li Hua Wu.
Mm-hmm.
It is listed as Emma here.
I noticed that too, actually.
This is meaningless. When will we find the truth? Anyway, if you'd like to identify this mystery woman, you could do so at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. Please, you have to help us save her. We're going to save her no matter what.
We will not accept tips from freaks with office lady fetishes.
Anyhow,
you're
you can tweet us. We are on Twitter, and we are also on Blue Sky. Both of those are at One Episode Cast. Talk to us about anime. Talk to us about your spring rolls.
I was pretty harsh there. There's worse fetishes to have. You can like office ladies. It's fine.
Just don't be gross. Just don't be
how
gross.
great my anime opinions are.
You did it. You've brought us another winner.
Yeah, this one's kind of a winner. I like it.
I got Blackle this time.
You got Blackle, and Blackle has impeccable tastes.
Blackle's very specific tastes.
Very refined. Refined. That's the word I'm looking for.
Blackle has a rarefied palate.
Yes.
I mean, it's more like there's a lot of things that turn me off. I think.
Understandable.
And when
Picky
all
eater.
those things are absent, I feel like I'm able to like something. But
yeah, I'm the raccoon of anime, I believe, because like shit anime, I might eat it.
I'm the human of anime because I will eat things that I know will hurt me. For fun.
For fun, yeah. Like,
Riverdale
well, this
is
is
not
poison.
anime.
Riverdale is pretty anime.
Riverdale is anime adjacent. Most
I gotta
controversial take of the
I gotta
evening.
go.
All right, that's a quote. Cut it and print it.
Bye.